You know, we rely on them every single day. But let me ask you, when was the last time we really paid attention to our feet? It turns out they can tell us a surprising amount about our overall health. They're kind of like an early warning system for the rest of our body. No, seriously, think about it for a second. Beyond just, throwing on socks and shoes, when did you last take a moment to really check in with them? It seems like such a simple question, right? But the answer could be way more important than you realize.
Because they are so much more than just the things we stand and walk on. The condition of your skin, your circulation, even the feeling in your nerves, all of these can provide some of the very earliest clues about what's going on elsewhere in your body.
Okay, before we get into the specific signs, I want to highlight something that is absolutely crucial. If you or someone you know has diabetes, making a daily foot check a non-negotiable part of your routine is one of the most powerful things you can do for your health. Seriously. All right, let's get right into it. We've broken down 8 key warning signs into 2 parts. So let's start with the first 4. First up, constantly cold feet or toes that look a little pale. Now sure, it could just mean your feet are, well, cold, but it can also be a hint about poor circulation, anemia, or even thyroid issues. So what can you do? Simple stuff, keep them warm, get up and move around. But here's the really critical part. If you suddenly get a painful, cold foot and the color turns blue or white, that's a signal to get medical help right away. Next, let's talk about swollen feet and ankles. This could be from something as simple as a long day or a salty meal, but it can also be linked to more serious things like venous insufficiency or problems with your heart or kidneys. Elevating your legs can definitely help, but here's the key thing to know for when it's urgent. If the swelling is only in one leg and it comes with pain, or if any kind of swelling is paired with shortness of breath, that needs immediate attention. Number 3, cracked heels or super dry skin. This is a really common one. A lot of the time it's just a sign you need to drink more water, but it could also be related to eczema or a fungal thing. Moisturizing can make a world of difference. It becomes urgent though if those cracks get deep and show signs of infection. We're talking redness, pus, or a fever. And this is especially critical for anyone with diabetes to keep an eye on.
And the 4th sign for this section is that numbness or pins and needles feeling. This often points to nerve issues, which can be linked to things like diabetes or even a B12 deficiency. The crucial thing to remember here is that if you have numbness, you have to be extra careful to protect your feet from injuries you might not even feel. The red flag to watch for is a sudden weakness, a sort of foot-dragging sensation, or numbness that gets worse really, really quickly.
Okay, that's the first 4. Let's move on to the second set of signs and see how this builds a more complete picture of what our feet might be trying to tell us. All right, sign number 5, pain in your heel or arch that just won't go away. This is another super common one, often from stuff like plantar fasciitis. Good supportive shoes and some calf stretches can be your best friend here. But, and this is a big but, if you have severe pain after an injury or you literally can't put any weight on your foot, don't just try to walk it off. That's a clear signal to get it checked out. Number 6 is that burning sensation in your feet. This can also be a sign of neuropathy or vitamin deficiencies. A really practical tip here, if you experience this, please avoid direct heat like hot water bottles. You could cause a pretty serious burn without even realizing it. And you should definitely seek professional advice if that burning feeling comes along with new wounds or a greater loss of feeling. Okay, seeing a dark line under a toenail can be a little alarming, I get it, but usually it's just a bruise from bumping it. A great tip is to just snap a photo with your phone to track any changes. It becomes more of an urgent thing if there was no injury, or if you see that line getting wider or the color spreading onto the skin around it. That's when you know it's time to see a doctor. And finally, number 8, a sore or an ulcer that just will not heal. This is a very, very serious sign that should never, ever be ignored. It can point to major issues with circulation or diabetes. If you see a sore with increasing redness, warmth, a bad smell, or any black tissue appearing, that is a medical emergency. You need to get professional care immediately. Okay, so we know what to look for now. So how do we turn that awareness into actual action? Well, it's all about creating a simple, quick daily habit. Meet the 60-second foot check. It is so easy to do. Every day, just take 1 minute to do this. 1. Look all over your feet, especially between your toes. 2. Feel for any temperature changes or numb spots. 3. Check your shoes for any little pebbles or rough seams that could cause trouble. 4. Moisturize, but skip the area between the toes to keep it dry. And 5. Trim your nails straight across. That's it. a simple but incredibly powerful routine.
And, that really gets to the heart of all this. This isn't about causing alarm, it's about empowerment. It's about giving you the knowledge to know when a simple issue might actually be something more, and when it's time to call a professional. So let's just recap the most important red flags. To summarize, you should call a doctor if you have sudden, severe pain or weakness, if you can't put weight on your foot, if you see signs of infection, like redness or a bad smell, or if you have any symptom that's getting worse really fast. And remember, if you have diabetes, any new change to your feet means it's time to talk to your healthcare provider. And of course, it is so important to remember that this is all for educational purposes. It's a guide to help you be more aware, but it is absolutely not a substitute for a professional medical diagnosis or treatment. So after everything we've covered, we'll leave you with one final question to think about. Take a moment. What are your feet telling you today?